Hey there, Danielle Matthews here. I am coming to you live from Florida. Today is Monday, so it's book club day. For those of you that are maybe new to my content, new to my page, I am always sharing strategies, things to help you get to know yourself better, master your inner world, so you can go out there and do what your purpose is and what you came here to do in the external world. We are reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And for those of you jumping on, joining me live for book club, let me know when you're here. Hey, Christy. So that I know when we can get started officially. This is something that even if you've not joined us before, tune in. The conversation that we are having today is so beneficial. It's like the strategies that your mind uses to throw you off, right? Do you complain? Do you worry? Are you stressed? Are you stuck? Are you in fear? Hey, Stacy. If you are any of these things, stick around because Eckhart Tolle dives into what that is all about and how to overcome it here. There was so many beautiful things in this. If you're searching for your purpose, if you're trying to figure out why you're here and what you're meant to do, it's discussed in this chapter. I had someone recommend this book to me. They said, Danielle, if there was one book that you could read in a lifetime and we were only allowed one, The Power of Now is the book. It really teaches all the basics of what you need to know. So, hey, Charlotte. Hey, everybody. Glad you are here. Hey, Maggie. So, let's dive in. I think if you are jumping on late to the live, just speed up. Make sure you join me where we are now so that this can be interactive and fun. I want to ask, how many of you find yourself ever complaining? Like, raise your hand. High five me, because I do it too. Like, what have you ever found yourself complaining? When I say raise your hand, put a 5 in the chat. Sorry, I should specify. Put a 5 in the chat if you've complained. Think about today. Think about over the weekend. Think about the last week of your life. Have you complained? Yeah. Okay. We got some honest people on here. Yes. 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 Like, it's amazing how many times we catch ourselves in this. And this is what he calls ordinary unconsciousness. This is where like all of us in society are pretty much like operating from. It's the space of the mind. Okay, now, hey Fritz, hey Juliet, hey Lou, hey Lynn, hey Mom. So he says, look, see if you can catch yourself complaining in either speech or thought about a situation that you find yourself in. What other people do, what other people say, like do you find yourself complaining about this? Just this is self-reflective. You don't have to respond in the chat, but self-reflective. Do you find yourself complaining about what others do, what others say, about your surroundings, about life situations, about the weather? He says, if you are complaining, it means you're in non-acceptance. And last week he talked a ton about just the secret to life is accepting what is as it is. So if you are complaining, you're not accepting. And he says that means you're carrying around a negative charge. Super interesting, right? Thoughts are things. They manifest in our body. They can create dis-ease in our system. So you're carrying around negative things. Like if you watch what you eat, if you watch what you drink, if you're conscious about the toxins in your home, but you are complaining, you're polluting your inner world. You are literally carrying around negativity. So reflect on this. This whole chapter, I mean, it is all about all the internal pollution that we're creating, and that will make you sick, probably faster than, eating a French fry would. All right. He also says you're making yourself a victim. When you complain, you're making yourself a victim because you're at the mercy of some external thing. You understand this? So when we complain about something, what he's saying is that it puts in a victim mentality. So when you're in a victim mentality, it means something external to you has control over you and you can't do anything about it. And if you can't do anything about it, then that's a problem that can never be solved. And so you're going to be on this treadmill of thoughts and all of this negativity that's in your system. All right. So he says, you got 3 options. All right. So there is hope. There is hope. So think about what you were complaining about. All right. Here are your options. He says, all right, let's say that you're complaining about the here and now. Number 1, remove yourself from the situation. Leave. Stop. You're not a tree, right? What do they say? You don't have roots in the ground. You can move. That's number 1. remove yourself from the situation. Number 2, change the situation. Just change it. Do something. See what you can do to change the situation. Number 3, accept it totally. Just say, well, it is what it is, right? The milk has spilled. That's it. All right? If it bothers you so much, leave the room. You can change it. We'll go clean it up. All right? Don't get upset about what is. It just is as it is. He says then, once you've figured out which option you're going to do, accept the consequence of your action. No excuses, no negativity, no more psychic pollution. Keep your inner space clear, right? You don't like a situation, leave, change it, or accept it. That's it. That's all. Stop complicating your life. It doesn't matter what you think about it, how it should be. It's not right. It is right. Like it is. So either remove yourself from it, do what you can to change it without creating the inner struggle, or accept just as it is. Was that helpful? I absolutely loved this chapter because he was like, okay, this is what you're doing. Now here's what you can do to fix it. And it's so simple. There's nothing complicated about those 3 options. So thinking about what you were complaining about, can you just accept it? Can you change it? Or can you, just leave the situation? Yeah, Stacy says yes. Good. All right, he says, now, what if you're stuck in an unhappy situation? What if you are stuck in an unhappy situation? He says, any action is better than no action. So maybe you're in a really tough situation. At home you can't get out of, at work you can't get out of, with a family member you can't get out of. Like it's right now, you're in this situation and you're stuck. He says, take some action, because some action is better than no action, especially if you've been stuck or unhappy for a long time. He says it's impossible to make a mistake in that situation because you will be learning something, in which case it's not a mistake anymore, right? The mistake would be to stay stuck. The thing that you don't want to do is remain in the situation that's making you unhappy, it's making you miserable. Like take a step, the step that you can do now, and you'll learn from it. And then you can take another step and you learn from it, and take another step and you learn from it, take another step. I'm zigzagging because sometimes it's not so clear and straight. All right? And he says, now what if fear has the handle on you? Put a 1 in the chat if like your biggest enemy is fear. Stuff in your mind that just makes you too scared to move. Oh, I feel like I have a bug crawling on me. Anyone? No fear? You gotta have fear. Stacy has fear. Okay, we got one brave one saying that she's got fear in her life. Yeah, I would challenge you. If you're not saying you have fear, well, why aren't you doing the things that you need to do to have the life you want to have? I guarantee there's some level of fear. Here it is. Okay, there we go. Shelly's got it. She's on it. All right, so what he says is, number 1, acknowledge the fear. Number 2, watch it. Number 3, take your attention into it. Number 4, be fully present with it. So whatever the fear is, he's basically saying, shine the light of awareness on it. It's like when you turn, a light on, like a headlamp, into the darkness, you shine the light of awareness, all of a sudden, there's nothing to fear because now you can see. So what he's saying again is acknowledge that it's there. So those of you that didn't say you have fears, I'm going to encourage you to look a little deeper because they're there. And I'm going to encourage you to then watch it, take your attention to it, be present with it. Not judging yourself, not saying I shouldn't be fearful, this is silly, none of that. Just how interesting that I'm scared of this. Of course, why am I scared? What is it that it makes me nervous, right? Shine the light of awareness on it and it dissolves, okay? You can surrender into this, absolutely. On page 69, he kind of like paragraph by paragraph. Did you guys see what he was doing? Like he was talking to us about all the different strategies our mind uses to get us away from the present moment. Fear gets us away, complaining gets us away, being lazy gets us away from the present moment. Being lazy does it. So he says, look, if you should be doing something, get up and do it now. On a coaching call with the team this morning, I had somebody say, yeah, I need to get back to building my business. I said, no, you just need to go talk to somebody now. Like there's nothing you need to do other than take the action of what you're saying you need to do. Stop talking about it, do it. right? Get into motion, get into activity. He says, otherwise, embrace your laziness fully and allow yourself to just be in it, go through that lazy period and come out of it. Just make sure there's no inner conflict. Like everything that he's teaching us, talking about, is getting rid of the inner conflict. All right? Are you stressed out? I thought this was one of the best quotes. He says, if you're stressed, it's because being here and you're wanting to be there. Basically, you're in the present moment now, but you're wanting to be in the future. And he said that this split literally tears you apart inside. So think about something you're stressed out about. Someone tell me something they're stressed about right now. Put it in the chat. What are you stressed about? Are you stressed about something that's going on with a child? Are you stressed about something going on with your work? Are you stressed about finances? Are you stressed about a relationship? Like, think about, guys, this is a reflective day. The chat's quieter than normal because I'm asking deeper questions. So think about something that you have stress around. I'm giving a presentation in a couple of days. And last night, it hit me that it was a couple days away. And I got a little bit of stress in my system, right? There was a little bit of me stressing out. Why? Because I wasn't right here. I was there, thinking about on stage, what was coming out of my mouth, whatever. And I got stressed out because I wasn't in the present moment. All right? I was wanting to be in the future. I was thinking about the future, and it got me stressed in the present. Okay, Lou says getting her business off the ground is stressing her out. Why? Because she's wanting to be in the future. She's wanting it to already be done. We got to be in the here and now. What step can I take now? What can I do now to address that? He says, if you have to, you can move fast. You can work fast. You can even run without projecting yourself into the future. This isn't about not achieving goals, not getting out there, not being on the stage, not building a business, right? It is about, look, go quickly, run at your goal, get after it, but don't resist the present moment. Don't resist the fact that right now you don't have the money, that right now you don't have the business. Don't resist the fact that right now your family doesn't have its health. Do everything that you can do in the present moment and trust the journey. Trust how it's unfolding. Trust the timing. He says, as you move, as you work, as you run, do it totally. Enjoy the flow of energy. That is the high energy of the moment. Then you're no longer stressed. You're no longer splitting yourself in two. Well, I want to be here, but there, but I'm here, right? I want to be in Texas with everybody, but I'm here with my family, right, Christy? Be there fully, be there totally. And he says, or just drop the whole thing. You don't need to stress out about getting there. Just be so totally present. Go sit on a bench for a moment. But he says, if you go sit on that bench, your mind might start saying, you should be working. You're wasting your time. And if it starts saying that, he says, observe it and just smile. Right? Because that mind has so much to say. Go do this. Okay, I need a break. Well, now I'm breaking. No, I should be working. Like, it is the stress that is created in the mind. Who has this happened to? Like, that you take a break and all of a sudden your mind is like, oh, but you should be doing this and you should be doing that and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You can't sit down. Your business isn't off the ground. You don't have the money. Your so-and-so needs you. Yeah. Right? Look at what you're doing to yourself. You're beating yourself up on the inside. You're creating so much stress up here. Everyone's waving. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm doing this. I know this chapter, the whole thing, I was like, oh my God, he's like nailing humanity, right? And don't judge yourself for this. This is just the human journey, And Christy's saying, yeah, like I want my family's health to be different than it is, but now I'm realizing it's important to just be in the moment with them, right? Trust the journey of that soul. See how it's intertwined with yours. You can choose to stay present and accept what is. You can choose to change it if you can, or you can choose to leave if it's not right for you. All right. Man, he asked a lot of really good questions. So we're just gonna, again, honesty time in the chat. Self-reflective time. So put a 1. Does the past take up a great deal of your attention? Put a 1. Does the past take up a lot of your attention? Think about your day. Does the past come up a lot? Do you frequently talk and think about it, either positively or negatively? Right? I know, sometimes I reflect back on like wonderful things that have happened in my life. Yeah, I see some ones coming in. Do you think about the great things you've achieved, the adventures you've been on, the experiences you've had? right? All the vacations you've been on. Or are you thinking more of your victim story, the dreadful things that have happened, or God forbid, the things that you did to somebody else? Put a 1 if you're like recognizing yourself in here. Are your thought processes creating guilt, pride, resentment, anger, regret, or self-pity? He says, if so, because living in the past often does that, he says you're accelerating your body's aging process. Because you've accumulated the past in your psyche. And that stress is causing the body to age. Do y'all see this? Have you maybe seen this in someone? I can think of people in my life that their mind is so in the past and, ruminating over things that didn't go the way they wanted, et cetera, and it has literally brought this dysfunction into their mind. Anger, regret, self-pity, resentment, pride, guilt. Marie says, that's me. And now you're taking away your longevity, guys. All right? It's poison. It is poison to have these thoughts in your mind. Let them go. Let them go. All right? I mean, the whole thing that all of this is like bring awareness to it. Don't judge yourself for it. You shine the light of awareness on it. It's gone. And you go, oh yeah. Rule number 6, don't take myself so seriously, right? Charlotte says, I like this. Good. These are the secrets. I mean, this is the secret to life. Like he's telling you how you're dysfunctional and he's telling you how to fix it. So everything is in these pages. The next thing, worrying. I'll put a 2 in the chat if you worry. Right, if you're a parent, I think you're like programmed to worry. I'm not a parent. I guess I am to my dog and I worry about him. But like, put a 2 in the chat if you worry about things. Worrying about not having enough money. Worrying about the health. Worrying about, finances. Worrying about whatever it might be. The kids, the husband, the whatever. The wife. Yeah, we worry. Do you know what he says? Worrying is having too many what if thoughts. Well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if this happens? And then, oh my God, but what if? And he says it's a phantom problem. It is a phantom problem. You're identified with your mind, which is projecting itself into some imaginary future. And because it's imaginary, because it's a phantom, you can't actually do anything about it. So you literally cannot cope with the situation because the situation doesn't exist. And so worrying, you've just got to stop. All you need to do is just acknowledge the present moment. The minute you find yourself worrying, excuse me, just bring yourself into the present and go, find the color blue. I mean, literally, just bring yourself into the present moment so much that you're like, okay, what is around me right now? And then you're back. All right, then you're back. And you can, acknowledge the fact of like, oh yeah, my mind was taking me down some rabbit hole that's not helpful. He says the answer is to just trust, all right? In every situation, know that you have the strength, know that you will pull on right action, know that you will pull the resources that you need, the resources that you have, and you will be able to do what you need to do now and in the moment. Not before, stop worrying, not after, because that doesn't exist, in the moment. He says, learn to trust yourself. When you learn to trust yourself, worrying is just null and void. Why would you be worried? You're so capable. You're connected to the divine. Like, nothing can go wrong. If you are clear and the thoughts aren't in the way and you can presently show up in every moment as your full self, everything's going to be fine. Do you see that? Put a 3 in the chat if you can trust that. Like, do that this week. The moment you find yourself worrying, go, hang on. Like, I have gotten through 100% of my tough days. You literally have gotten through 100% of them. So if you've gotten through 100% of your tough days, why in the world do you doubt yourself, or are you worrying about being able to address something that might come tomorrow? Like, just be with what is. I like the 3s with the exclamation mark. Yeah, like, yes. Yes, I'm going to just trust myself. Yes, I'm going to be able to do this. Right, Charlotte? You're about to be traveling. You're going to be flying into a new airport, figuring things out, enjoy the journey. See who you run into along the way. Be fully present, not worried about, well, is the shuttle going to be here? Am I going to be able to find my hotel room? Am I going to be able to do all these things? Like, knock the worry off and just be present. Wow, who am I running into now? Wow, okay, I don't know where the taxi is. Well, let me go ask this person. They work here to help people like me in this situation that can't find their way around a new city, right? You're supported always, 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 always. So stop thinking you're not. All right, I'm glad to see all these threes. Start trusting. Absolutely start trusting. The next thing he called us all out on. I mean, I was like, man, he's calling me out. He's calling me out. He's calling me out. I hate all of these things. This is the mind. And it's a wild place. Waiting. I loved what he had to say about waiting. He said, waiting is a state of mind. And how much of our life do we spend waiting? And he talked about like short waiting. So waiting for a table at a restaurant, waiting for a presentation to start, waiting for book club to be here, waiting for dinner to be ready. Like we have this like short, he called small scale waiting. But then he also says there's large scale waiting. Do you find yourself in this? Are you waiting for a better job? Are you waiting for your business to take off? Are you waiting for the next vacation? Are you waiting for the children to be grown up and out of the house? Are you waiting for the grandchildren? What are you waiting for? Lou says, I make others wait. Oh dear. It's okay. Don't judge yourself. Because he says, and I just love this. It was so beautiful. He talked about, where was it? Was it the next page? He talked about, the next time that you find yourself waiting, or even if someone says to you, I'm so sorry I kept you waiting, he says, insert this little comment. I wasn't waiting. I was just standing here enjoying myself. Enjoy in myself. I love that little play. Enjoying myself, enjoy in myself. So he was basically saying, like, I'm just here. I'm now. It doesn't matter. I go and I take my neighbor to the gym every single day, Guru Dev. Some day, I'm always on it, but some days he's done earlier. He never calls me and says, let's go earlier. He just will sit outside. And I'm like, oh, I wish you had told me. I would have been here sooner. And he's like, I don't mind. Waiting doesn't bother me. I was enjoying the sun. I was watching the bird. I was enjoying the breeze. I knew you would come when you were ready to be here. Like, talk about a shift in inner peace if we can just be with waiting. Same with prosperity. He says, if you don't have gratitude for the present moment and fullness of life right now, you will never have it in the future. So for those of you saying, well, I need money, I'm stressed about money, you're not going to have it in the future if you keep that energy with you now. All right, you need to feel prosperous now. Prosperity is like the inner stuff. This is what the whole second part of the book was about, and I am running out of time, so we should probably move to that. But he was talking about life's inner purpose and life's outer purpose. The journey of this life is a journey into yourself. And guys, this was so profound. I put this in the Telegram chat because I thought, so many people, and I hear it again and again and again, I'm searching for my purpose. I'm looking for my purpose. I don't think I found my purpose. He explains it right here, page 74. Inner awareness is the purpose. What you're searching for is self-realization. It's to understand the inner world. That's your purpose. That's the inner purpose of life. And then once you know that, the rest is a game. The rest is just fun. The rest is a playground for further exploration of yourself, for further manifestation of yourself, right? You got to go through the dark. It's like, I'm like on a weird mirror or something. There. You got to get the roots in there. You got to have this inner exploration time so then you can fully express. And that's your purpose. That's it. All right? So he said, I'm going to just read the whole thing because I must have read this 5 times before I sent it to you all. It was so good. He said, it will matter to you. So the question was, does it matter whether we achieve our outer purpose, whether we succeed or fail in the world? How many of you, put a 1 in the chat. Like, I don't think this is just me because I hear it a lot in business and coaching people. This thing of like, I got to achieve my purpose. I've got to make my impact on the world. I've got to. Put a 1 if like you're driven by that or you have some level of that. Most of you are entrepreneurs and I see you going after your own dreams. And are you with me? Am I being clear? How many of you are looking for the purpose and feeling like you will fail if you don't do a certain thing? Okay, there you are. Shelly's with me. Christy's with me. Stacy's with me. Okay. What he says, and I think this is so key, this will set you free. It will matter to you, the purpose, as long as you haven't realized your inner purpose. After that, the outer purpose is just a game that you can continue to play simply because you enjoy it. It is also possible to fail completely in your outer purpose, but at the same time totally succeed in your inner purpose. So he's saying, like, it is possible in life to not have all of the wealth and abundance in the external world, but to have it internally. Like, that's totally possible. A lot of people see this in the third world. A lot of people that visit third world countries, they come back and they say, I don't understand how they're so happy. Like, how are they so happy? Well, they're happy because they figured out the inner purpose, the inner world. They're present. They're loving life. They're enjoying connection, family, friends. And then you come to the more developed countries and we think, well, to make it, to have purpose is to make an impact and to accrue all these things. And we've lost that inner purpose, which is why there's a lot of misery. So what he says is it's more common to see it the other way around, where you have outer riches but inner poverty. You gain the world and you lose your soul, is the way Jesus put it. He says, ultimately, of course, every outer purpose is doomed to fail sooner or later simply because it is subject to the law of impermanence of all things. All right? So reflecting on that, where are you with your inner purpose, with your inner awareness, with bringing yourself into the present, using the present as a way to figure out, what's off in your system, what you need to do? He says, you don't need to go into your past. So there was a big question and a lot of questions that kind of closed out the chapter about, like, well, wait a second. Like, I have all this stuff from my past. Like, what about the way society shaped me to be? And, customs in my culture and things from my childhood. And, like, don't I need to go back and deal with that? And he says, no, that's all an illusion. It's in your mind. It's in the past. You do not solve illusions by going into the illusion. You solve it by dropping it, by realizing it doesn't exist, by realizing it should not have a hold over you, and that you now in the moment can shift and change it. And he says, using the present moment will allow you to see what things are still hanging around, like we talked about, the seed and sprouting up into a weed in the given moment. What is that seed? You see it in relationships, you see it in the patterns coming through in your life, abandonment, not feeling loved, not feeling heard. That, you don't need to go into the past to figure out, well, why did that get there and why is it here? That's not going to solve it. You just need to go, oh my God, why is this thing here right now? Let me get rid of it right now. Let me just be with it. He says, literally, like in the West, we think, oh, we've got to go through our past. We've got to figure out what happened in childhood. We've got to feel it. We've got to think about how we're feeling. We've got to feel how we're thinking. All this mind stuff. And he says, knock it off. Like, that's an illusion. The mind can't get you there. You need to just be in the present moment and be with what is. And when you are with what is, it will remove itself. That's, for those of you that joined Inner Management Mastery, like, that's what we're doing. And I'm so excited. It's to teach you how to just be with the thing that's showing up right now so that it can move through. It's the same thing he's teaching. How do you dissolve the past? You deal with it at the level of the present moment. He says the more attention you give the past, the more you energize it, and the more likely you are making a self out of it. Give your attention to the present. Give your attention to your behavior. Give your attention to your reactions, to your mood, to your thoughts, to your emotions, to your fears, to your desires as they occur in the present moment. He says there is your past. If you're looking for your past, it's how it's showing up right here, right now, in your emotions, thoughts, moods, fears, desires. And he says, if you can be present enough to watch all those things, not being critical, not being judgmental, not being analytical, all right, then you're dealing with the past and dissolving it through the power of your presence. By just shining the light of awareness, right? Turning on the light in the dark room, putting the headlamp directly on it, like look at the fear. And when you do that, it dissolves it. All right. And every time you do that, You break it, you break it, you break it, you break it, and so eventually it just won't come anymore. That's the secret to dealing with your past. What a chapter. I think I say this every week, but I'm like, holy cow. I think I highlighted everything like on this page. So that was chapter 4. Next week, we've got chapter 5. It looks like we can conquer the whole thing in a week. So we will be meeting on Monday of next week. It's my birthday, so we will talk about chapter 5 on my birthday, the state of presence. All right. So I hope that was insightful. Guys, go back to this chapter, reread this, share this on your page, tag a friend, get the awareness about this conversation out there. Do you realize how much this would open people if they can understand how they're creating their own stress, the worry and the fear, all the stuff? Like, this is the human condition. So share this with people, get the information out there. I'm grateful for your energy here. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be back next week, and I'm sending you lots of love between now and then, and looking forward to discussing chapter 4 with all of you.